This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Delighted to be joined with Johnny Nelson. The autumn is coming, the winters, the summer's coming to an end. I don't know how that's going with your lawn or your grass that you like to put on, but
I'm going to drag it out, man. I'm going to drag it out as much as I possibly can. I'll probably try to do this up until a month before Christmas without no top on, but hey, enjoy it while we can.
Absolutely, but yeah, we're here today at the famous Peacock Gym for the press conference for Adam Azim versus Ohara Davies. Yeah, massive step up for Adam Azim, against Ohara Davies, who's been competed at world level, only ever lost to really guys who've been at the world level. So a real statement and a real big fight for Adam Azim.
Without a doubt, and you know, Ohara Davies, the only time he's lost is when he stepped out of his league, stepped out of his class. And so if Adam Azim is the fighter we all say and scream and shout he potentially can be, this will be Adam's career best performance because he knows Ohara Davies. Both these guys, they trained here, they know each other, familiar with each other here at the Peacock Gym. For Ohara Davies, he knows how talented Adam is, but he knows he needs to have his A game on. If he doesn't, Adam could come through, because I'm quite sure at one point Ohara was top dog, Ohara was boss, and it's hard to set your mind to respecting and looking at the young gun coming up respectfully and fearfully, which he's got to do. So I think it's going to be a career best performance for Adam. I think Ohara Davies will use every single trick in the book to get the job done. He has the talent, he has the experience. Has he got the skill? Has he got the speed? Has he got the youth and the power? Has he got that? We'll find that on the night. So that fight being made, great fight.
I was going to say, is it always nice when they have that narrative to a fight, like especially one like this? Because I even before this fight was even scheduled, I spoke to Ohara like months ago and I talked about like Adam Azim. He was like, you know, I saw him doing pads with Tunde, like Ajayi young. So like now to see him grow up and now like opponents, it feels like almost like right.
You know, I was from a gym that was like that. Many guys that were much better than I saw me in the down days, and then they disappear, come back, and they saw me as a world champion, and they couldn't quite figure it out. They couldn't quite get their head around the fact that I've got to respect this guy differently than when I disrespected him originally. So this is always going to be a problem for Ohara. No matter what, it will be a problem for him to eat humble pie and respect the kid that he probably had the best side of, top side of at one bit. That might be his downfall. He's got to go in there with a tinge of fear, respect, but massive confidence. And if he goes in there with that, then he'll box smart, he'll box sharp, he'll know what he's got to do. I think that time for Ohara has passed, but I think he still has the talent and the heart and the experience to give Adam stress and pressure. Adam will produce his career best performance thus far on that night.
Do you think Adam has a lot to prove? Because I think you'd probably say for the first time in his career, and maybe not even his fault, but the whole situation with Harlem Eubank and that fight not materialising it has, I guess, put a bit of scrutiny on his name, but not his fault, but he has a lot more to prove than ever.
Yeah, probably, but I also believe that, you know, kids like Adam and Ben Whittaker, people like that, I think they should tear up the domestic opposition to build that fan base here, so the fans are like, oh my God, you remember that fight, you remember that fight. You know, create division in your own country, create conversation, create dispute, but still come out on top. Because if you look back in the days of Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, people like that came through, you know, they boxed everybody that was around. Before that, Harold Graham boxed the likes of Mark Kell, XYZ. When they established themselves domestically, and there was no question about, then they took that following, that fan base, to European level, to world level. And that's how you cover every angle, every step of a fighter coming through. So these fights, to me, I encourage them. These fights, to me, are very important.
Absolutely, for sure. I did just want to quickly move on. We're about just over a week away now from one of the biggest cards the UK scene, especially in recent history. But yeah, just sort of touching on the main event, Anthony Joshua against Daniel Dubois. There's been such a long build-up, I'd say, like, you know, about a 5-month build-up, 4-month build-up for this. As it gets to like 10 days away now, have you flip-flop between the idea or flip-flop between the fight?
Not at all. I think Daniel Dubois is where Anthony Joshua was. Daniel Dubois has to prove himself. Anthony Joshua has had to go through the mill. He's had the highs, he's had the lows, he's had the question marks. He's had to build himself to this point. So it'd be very unfair and disrespectful of us all to now be writing Anthony Joshua off in this situation. The questions are all there for Daniel Dubois. Anthony Joshua is rightfully in the position to expect him to get the job done as long as he stays professional. So what Anthony Joshua does is really not really a conversation. It's a stupid. Now the question is Daniel Dubois. What does he learn? What kind of fighter he is at this point in his career? What can he do? What he's capable? What is he capable of doing to go in there with such an established champion, even though Daniel's the champion, established ex-champion that said, right, I'm here now, it's my turn. So I think Daniel, the mistakes, I see he gets hit far too easily and cleanly. The pluses are he's got an amazing heart, an amazing jab, underrated, very strong, young, has no fear whatsoever. And I'm not saying he's stupid to walk straight in, I'm saying he has no fear, so he's not intimidated at all. So in my opinion, I think it'll be a good fight all in all. The questions are for Adam, the questions aren't for Anthony Joshua.
I would say, is there still sort of doubt casted over Anthony Joshua? Because everyone talks about, I guess, this new lease of life under Ben Davison, but is it fair to say we don't really know yet because he hasn't faced a guy that's of elite competition?
Unfortunately, Anthony Joshua is probably the most famous boxers in today's world. And so he'll always be criticised, critiqued, questioned. Can he, will he, is he able to do that? And unfortunately that's the position you're in when you're up there. And so it feels like everybody's on his case. And I see that. And I'm quite sure Anthony Joshua will be thinking, why is that? The position you are, that's how you are, it's a lonely position, and people always question it. So to ask that of Anthony Joshua, you'll always be asking questions, well, what if he gets it on the chin? What if he this, that, and what, that? But it's very hard and very unfair. He's proved what he's got to prove. All he has to do is have now the responsibility and respect of the position he's in to say, this is why I've been through the mill, this is why I've done what I've done, this is why I'm here now. Because all these questions you're asking me, I've proved them. Look at how many champions I've fought. Look at how many ups and downs I've had. So he's been on every side of the fence.
And just sort of taken away from the card, taken away from the main event, is there any sort of, if you could look at one of them fights that really takes your liking? Obviously I know Buatsi Hutchinson has its own, like, a bit of bad blood between it. Is it Liam Smith, Josh Kelly, another big fight? Is there anything else?
Those two fights you've just mentioned, Liam Smith and Josh Kelly, I think I've got massive respect for Josh Kelly and especially Adam Booth, massive respect. I believe, and it sounds disrespectful, but I don't mean to be, I believe Liam Smith has a bigger heart and hunger than Josh Kelly. And if it comes down to heart and pressure of a fight, I think Smith will break his heart. I think the talent, the boxing ability, moves and everything, definitely down to Josh Kelly. I think Joshua Buatsi and Willie Hutchinson. Willie used to train at our gym. You know, I know this kid can fight. You sleep on him, he's beating you. So how Joshua Buatsi is now, he's got a bit spiky. He needs to be like that with Willie Hutchinson, because don't be his friend. Don't stand there and be respectful. You've got to be disrespectful and bubble yourself up, because otherwise he'll hustle you and he'll outbox you. And so what Joshua Buatsi is doing now, the being of how he is, he needs to be like that. Otherwise, Hutchinson will beat him.
I was going to say, what did you make of the face-off between them? Because, you know, Josh is always someone that's quite calm, composed, but it did seem to a bit like, you couldn't, maybe not Hutchinson got to him, but there was a lot that wound him up, I guess. I've never seen him grab someone by the throat like that.
But he understands it has to be like that. These two guys are sparred. He actually, and the fact that Joshua Buatsi understands, this kid, I've got to dislike him. You know, I can remember fighting a guy, and we used to train at the same gym together. We were sat in the training room getting our bandages done together. And we had to fight each other. I thought, this is business. So I knew for a fact, when the bell went, I'm not your friend. So I thought, do I try and box him on points because he's my mate, or get rid of him? I got rid of him. I stopped him out 2 or 3 rounds. You know, that's what you've got to do. So I don't want it. So I understand Joshua Buatsi not wanting to be familiar and be his friend. I totally get it. And he needs to do that. Otherwise, he's in risk of losing.
Absolutely. Johnny, as always, a pleasure to speak to you. Appreciate it as always. And yeah, keep that grass going, mate, even though it's getting into winter, mate. Thank you. Cheers.